All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to decode something you've definitely seen before, but maybe it just didn't know what it was called. We're talking about the Doric order. It's the original, the heavyweight champion of classical Greek architecture, and we're about to break down all its secrets.
So, we're going to tackle one big question. What is the secret code behind all that ancient Greek strength? Because that's really what the Doric order is, It's a visual code for power, for stability, for just sheer endurance, all built right into stone. So let's start cracking that code.
So, where do we start? Well, how about with the most iconic example of this style on the entire planet? A building so tough, it's been standing for nearly 2,500 years.
Yep, you guessed it. The Parthenon in Athens. When you close your eyes and picture a Greek temple, this is probably what pops into your head. It's the absolute poster child for the Doric order, the work of architects Actinus and Callicrates, and man, it just perfectly captures the style's whole identity.
So what is that identity? Well, this quote pretty much nails it. Think of it this way. If architectural styles were people, the Doric order would be the strong, silent type. It's solid, it's no nonsense, and it was built to look and to be incredibly powerful.
And to give you some perspective, this style has been around for a long, long time. We're talking way back in the 6th century BC. The Parthenon itself showed up about a century later, and its influence? Whoa! It's so huge you can still see its DNA in government buildings, banks, and memorials being built all over the world today. Okay, so you ready to crack this code? We're going to deconstruct a Doric column piece by piece, and we're going to start right at the very bottom, the foundation. Now, common sense would tell you that any massive stone column holding up a giant roof would need a solid, separate base to sit on, right? I mean, that's just logical. It helps spread the weight, gives it a visual anchor. But here's the first big surprise. Maybe the most important rule of the Doric order. It has no base. None. The shaft of the column just sits right on the temple floor. This is a huge giveaway, and it creates this incredibly stable look, almost like the column is growing right out of the ground itself.
And that floor it sits on? Well, it has a proper name, the stylobate. It's basically the top step of the whole platform that the temple is built on. So remember that. No base, just the column sitting straight on the stylobate. That's rule number 1.
Okay, so moving up from that non-existent base, we get to the main body of the column itself, the shaft. Now, it might look pretty simple, but trust me, it's got a couple of really clever tricks built right in.
First up, the number 20. A true Doric column will always have exactly 20 of these vertical grooves running all the way down. They're called flutes, and they don't just add some nice texture. They create these super strong vertical lines that make the column feel even taller and more grand. Not 19, not 21, always 20.
But the shaft's coolest trick is something called entasis. See, the ancient Greeks were masters of visual perception. They figured out that a perfectly straight, tall column can actually trick our eyes into thinking it looks thinner in the middle, like it's caving in. So to fix that, they actually built the shaft with a very subtle bulge, a slight curve outwards. That's entasis. It makes the column look perfectly straight to us, and it also gives it this sense of, muscular tension, as if it's flexing under the weight of the roof. So cool.
Seriously, the level of detail is just brilliant. Okay, let's continue our journey up to the very top of the column, to the part that actually connects to the roof structure. We call this the capital. Now, the Doric capital is the simplest of all the Greek styles. You won't find any fancy scrolls or carved leaves or any decoration at all. It's just pure, unadorned function. It was designed to do one job and one job only: get the heavy load from the roof safely down into the column.
These characteristics right here are everything. It's smooth, it's round, it's completely unadorned. It almost looks like a plain, flattened stone cushion. And that stark simplicity is totally on purpose. It just doubles down on that feeling of no-nonsense strength that defines the entire Doric style.
So, let's put all the pieces of the puzzle together. We've looked at the base, or lack thereof, the shaft, and the capital. It's time to recap the code that we've just figured out.
And this chart lays it all out perfectly, doesn't it? Each feature has a specific job. That lack of a base makes it feel totally grounded and stable. The 20 flutes and that slick entasis in the shaft give it that muscular, perfectly straight look. And then you have that super simple, unadorned capital, which just screams power.
You see, these aren't just a bunch of random design choices. It's a language, an architectural language that was carefully put together, and all of it combines to create this one unmistakable message of strength, dignity, and permanence. And once you learn how to read this language, you just can't unsee it.
Which brings us to our final thought. You are now officially equipped with the code. You can identify a Doric column anywhere in the world. So the real question is, the next time you're walking past a courthouse or a museum or some big monument, will you spot it? Now that you can read the code, where are you going to see it next?